What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off Live, the Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Orrico, joined today again by KC Bubba, who's back after being off on Monday. Good to see you again, my friend. We're going to be running through all of the baseball news, the headlines. There's a lot of injuries, bringing you the best bets, home run calls, and all that, Bubba. Great to have you back, my friend.
Always good to be back. Glad Ryan was able to at least, kind of fill in. You're never going to compete with this chair, but it was good to see him there, and hopefully he can, keep doing it down the line.
Yeah, Ryan was so good that we've asked him back, and he'll actually be back in the co-host chair next Monday. So if you liked Ryan, make sure you are coming back and watching that one with us. Before we get going, though, I want to remind you guys that we are giving away a Billy Wagner signed baseball, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros MLB YouTube channel right now. Drop a comment below on any video, and that's it. We'll be announcing one lucky winner right here on the channel. So make sure to turn on those notifications so you know when new videos are up and to claim your prize. Guys, a little bit of an announcement. This will be our last show of the year on Twitch. Now, don't panic. We haven't been canceled. We have not been canceled. We are moving over. Not yet. Not yet. Give it a week or so. But we are moving over to YouTube, back where we were for many, many years on Leading Off. So make sure you guys, if you are, if you've unsubscribed on YouTube or something and you just watch the show over here, go back to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys are liking and commenting and doing all those things. You can get yourself the Billy Wagner baseball, and it also really helps us out this time of year as we will be transitioning back to YouTube. I'm going to hit you guys over the head with a sledgehammer about 10 times today, reminding you, and I'll probably send something out on socials as well. But make sure you guys are subscribing. Fantasy Pros MLB on YouTube is where you'll see us live for the final 6 or 7 shows. I'm not sure how many we have left, but something like that. They will be on YouTube. But let's get into it today. We're going to start with the headlines, and we're going to start with Spencer Strider. Finally, a good one. Finally got back on track. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts for Mr. Strider. Now, I was talking about this with Ryan the other day, and I think we may have discussed Strider once or twice, Bubba. I have no idea what to make of him heading into next year. What I said to Ryan is I want to see a few encouraging starts to end the season, leave you with that nice feeling heading into the winter. But whatever he does over these next few starts, the overall numbers are pretty bad. The strikeouts are down. The stuff is down. What do you make of Strider? Do you trust him the rest of the season? And will you be buying in, presumably at a pretty steep discount in the offseason?
I'll be interested in Strider if the price is right for sure. Like, this is a guy coming off the internal brace procedure. No pitcher's really gone past like 80 innings since they've had the procedure, given it's a new procedure, so we don't know. He's at the 107 inning mark. He hasn't looked dominant. The strikeouts haven't been there. Even last night, it started out slow against the Cubs, bases loaded, no outs to start the game. He danced out of it. Like watching the beat writers, they said the fastball was getting hit all over the yard. Off speed pitch, still getting swings and miss. That makes a lot of sense for a guy trying to come back from an injury like this. So if he just keeps racking up, the innings get closer to that 115, 120. I don't see why we shouldn't be interested in Strider. Like, we all talk about Tommy John, brace procedure, whatever process it is. It's usually a year to 2 years almost before the guy's back to where they're supposed to be. So getting this year under his belt, knowing that he survived but didn't look great, like, it's still good. He's not getting Yuri Perez out there. So, I'm interested if the price is right. I just have a hunch if he finishes the year, and then if you're not a degenerate like us, drafted early, come 1 or 2 spring training starts, that price is skyrocketing.
Yeah, if you want cheap shares, and this pretty much goes for pitchers across the board. If you want to get better pitching prices, draft earlier, because as soon as the calendar flips to 2026, all those prices shoot up. Todd saying, should maybe similar to how we ranked DeGrom heading into this year. I was incredibly aggressive on DeGrom, probably too aggressive. I was a little bit too aggressive. I won't be like ranking Strider as a top 5 pitcher, probably. I think he's probably in like the 10 to 15 range, something like that. Looking at the early draft that you did, he went in the early part of the 6th round to a fantastic player in Jenny Butler. 1 pick ahead of you, with Trevor McGill going to you 1 pick after. But I think Strider, if you are getting him in the 6th, 7th round, that might not be lasting into next year. But if you can get into some early drafts and get Strider in the 80s, 90s, around pick 100, I think that's probably a pretty decent idea. You can probably expect a pretty nice bounce back from him, and the price is never going to be that cheap again. I can almost guarantee throughout the rest of his career, you may never see Strider that cheap again. But on the other side of that start, Cade Horton continued his incredible second half, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. The strikeouts aren't amazing, but when you're getting what you've been getting from Cade Horton, I don't think you care if there are any strikeouts with the ratios. It's been 10 second half starts, and he's allowed a total of 4 earned runs. I think at this point, he is the National League Rookie of the Year. He is now the guy who is favored in the odds. He's jumped ahead of Baldwin and Collins and all the rest of them. What is your trust level in Cade Horton? Do you see this as a true breakout where next year he is an SP2 or an SP3? Or is this potentially just a really, really hot streak that people are going to maybe overreact to?
It's a great run. He's going to probably win the Rookie of the Year unless something crazy happens. I'm still kind of skeptical. My theory is I always want strikeout guys if you because you're going to have to draft him early enough. Like he's not a SP5 or 6 where strikeouts dwindle type thing. So that's a bummer. And like I'll just be the cold water guy. If you look deeper in, like it's 270 ERA, which is great, but a 4.31 Sierra is probably more. You're getting closer to where reality sets in. We got a guy with a 261 BABIP on a 44% ground ball rate. Like there's a few things that are going to kind of come back, but could he be a 360 ERA guy with a, a 7.5 K per nine? Probably. That's still a very good starting pitcher. So that it interests me, but I'm not going to be probably as aggressive as others when they see this amazing run he's been on. It's been outstanding. He's helping fantasy teams get to the titles. There's no doubt about that. But for 2026, I'm going to have kid gloves on a guy making his first long jaunt at the big league level.
I think that's totally fair. Like if he ever lives up to the strikeout upside we saw in the minors, be a different story. But he was in the 30+% range. He's been right at 20 this year. The swinging strike rate is at 11%, so he's earned that 20% strikeout rate. Is there a year in the future where he could get into the 25, 26% range? For sure. But I don't know that you can expect that immediately next year. And after this run, like you mentioned, the surface stats, 270 ERA, 111 whip. He's going to be kind of expensive, especially if he continues this through the end of September. So I like Cade Horton. He's helping a few of my teams, but that price is probably going to be a little out of my range. Let's talk about Connelly Early. I would not blame you if you hadn't heard this name before the last couple days, but he had a phenomenal debut in a tough venue in Sacramento. I recommended sitting him, and my apologies for that because he went 5 shutout innings with 11 strikeouts, 5 hits, 1 walk. He had a 21% swinging strike rate and a 38% CSW. Bubba, I'm not sure if you watched this one or if you caught up after the fact. What were your thoughts on Early? Is he somebody that you would be running to the waiver wire to pick up right now?
Well, first off, don't apologize for not recommending starting him. We're talking about a guy making his debut in one of the best hitting ballparks in all of baseball, and you have no clue what the leash is that he'd have. So that's a fair hold there. He was outstanding. The A's, they can fluctuate. They can put up a million runs. They can do this too. So that was pretty big. I'd be interested once we get some more news. Like they have Bayo, Giolito, and Crochet locked into the rotation, and then it's up for grabs. Like Cora flat out said, we don't know like kind of what we're doing here. We're going to mix and match. Tole starting Wednesday, but he's going to get piggybacked potentially by Harrison. Lots going on there. So if Early sticks, it's awesome because he has the A's at home in Boston and then at Tampa Bay, another good ballpark to hit in. But it's a 2-step next week, which is very, very enticing. And that could be followed by, a start against the Tigers to finish the season, assuming Dustin May is not back. So I would be interested in Early. I'll say that for sure. But again, you don't know what these teams are doing. These are young arms. There's a lot of things that can be, come into play to screw things up.
Yeah, I mean, it was very encouraging. But like, even if he's pitching at Fenway, it's a pretty hitter-friendly park. If he goes to Tampa, it's a hitter-friendly park. I think if you're in a really shallow league, I don't know that I'd want to take the chance if it's like a 10-teamer. If it's 12 and deeper, I would be willing to do it. Whatever fab you have left, maybe. I mean, it's very hard to figure out how much everybody has at this time of year, but maybe throw half of what you got left at him, a quarter, a third. I mean, you might have five fab dollars left, or you might have none, and you might have to maybe hope for a $0 bid. What are kid gloves? Kid glove when you take it easy, when you're not like pushing a guy to the extent that
I thought that was a common term. Sorry.
I thought so too, but it's okay. We cater to all types around here. Let's talk about Mike Trout though. I do want to bring up Mike Trout. He did have a solid game yesterday. It was 2 for 4. He had a walk, 3 runs. But he's also in the midst of the longest home run drought of his career. He's stuck on 398 for the career. And the season as a whole, I mean, he has a 117 WRC plus. He has a 787 OPS. Those are fine, but he's hitting 233. He's striking out 30% of the time. He only has 2 steals. He's kind of boring. He's kind of mediocre at this point, as much as I never thought we'd say that about Trout. I don't know what to do with him. I think at this point, I'm kind of done with him as a fantasy asset because people will see the name Mike Trout and still think, well, maybe there's one more year, and maybe there is one more good year in him. But I'm not really willing to pay the price at this point at age 34. Are you a full fade on Trout next year, or maybe have some interest in the middle rounds?
Not been a fade for a couple years now. Love the legacy of Mike Trout. We lost out on seeing the next great thing due to injuries, which is a shame because if people don't remember, go back from 2019 and earlier and just watch some of the best baseball player you'll ever see on the face of the planet in Mike Trout. And like I said, injuries derailed him. It's a shame. He's going to keep playing in Anaheim as a DH for the time being, but I don't think there's a lot. Like, if at best you get Andrew McCutchen, I think right about now, and that as a comp, if you want to think about that, and that's not going to do it for me on draft day.
I mean, just looking at Trout, like you mentioned, like what he did, people forget now because it's been a while. We've had impressive seasons from Judge and different players, Ohtani, and you kind of forget how good Mike Trout was. He had 63 wins above replacement by the time he was 26 years old. Like he was unbelievable. Every single year was 10 WAR, 8 WAR, 9, 10, 11. Like he was truly brilliant. But at this point, I feel like what you're paying for is the name value. And like who said it in the chat? Todd said it in the chat. Trout is the third Angels outfielder on my board in 2026. Hard to really argue that with Adele and with Taylor Ward in town. Let's talk Juan Soto. He's the first member of the 30-30 club this season. He's been one of the best players in fantasy as a whole, which makes it so funny, Bubba, to think back at the beginning of the year when everybody's like, oh my God, they paid for Juan Soto. How could they have gotten Juan Soto? He's a bust. He's awful. Juan Soto is the number 5 fantasy player for the season, $35 value. He is a 30-30 bat for the first time in his career. He's only hitting 261, which maybe people don't like, but I don't care when he has 109 runs, 38 homers, 94 ribbies, and 30 steals. What do you think about Soto? Do you think he is, like, after we get past Ohtani and Judge and maybe Bobby Witt Jr., is Soto like locked in? Is that 4th or 5th pick next year, you think? Him, J-Ram? Like, how would you rank those first couple of guys, you think?
I got Soto ahead of J-Ram just because you need 5 outfielders in those formats. If it's less than a 5 outfielder league, that third base of J-Ram goes a long, long ways. And maybe you still put J-Ram early. I'm not going to argue that. When I love J-Ram, he's a basically 30-30 machine. First time Soto's done it. And what's crazy with Soto, we know the power's there. We know his batting average is actually down this season. He's stealing, which is nuts. The career high was 12 stolen bases before this season. So it begs the question, like, do we go, is this sustainable? Maybe it's his first season with the Mets. This is a Mets thing. Maybe they're going to do this. Lots of questions. That's what we get to do in 2026 or 2025 off season. But I think he deserves to be near the top. He's always been one of the best pure hitters. I think it's just been stolen bases has kept him down the board. Like he's behind like a Kyle Tucker even for me in the past because Tucker at least gets 20 steals. But now if we believe that Soto's a 20 plus, 30 plus stolen base guy, he's in the top 5 discussion without a question for me. Like, let's not forget, Joe, that Juan Soto will turn 27 this October. Seems like he's been playing forever because he has been. So we technically might not have seen the best of Juan Soto yet.
I think that's totally fair. Yeah, like what I just mentioned about like what Trout's done up until age 26. Soto isn't on quite that level, I wouldn't say, but he has 41.7 FWAR through his age 26 season. And we're probably going to add on probably a full win until the end of the season at this rate he's going. He's phenomenal, and I wouldn't have any problem taking him as the 4th pick or the 5th pick next season. Now, somebody asked about Elly in the chat. Elly's been very, very good this year. He is the number 17 ranked player according to Fangraphs, a $26 value. It is 19 homers, 33 steals. He's hitting 267. Is Elly still in that conversation of a top 5 to 7 pick, or do you think we have to move him down a little bit?
I think it's worth the discussion of moving him down a bit. He's still very good. If you're playing Roto, it's great. If you're playing head to head, he's destroying you, absolutely destroying you, because you mentioned 17th on the play rater. That's great. Now let's talk second half of baseball where he's much lower. We did a Bubba in the Bloom first half versus second half play rater show like a week or two ago, and if you look at Elly's numbers in the second half of the season, as my thing is glitching here, it's been dreadful. He's hitting 235, 1 total home run, Joe, and 8 stolen bases. Like he's destroying your head to head. The season long numbers look great. We know there's going to be peaks and valleys with the skill set of Elly De La Cruz. That's normal, but we got to fix things here. He's still striking out close to 30% of the time during this. He has a 336 BABIP, still hitting 235. That's not good. So I've always kind of been skeptical of the profile because of that. I get it. He's a monster when he's clicking, but you have to be in the right format to enjoy that because he's destroying you right now.
I didn't know it was that bad because he wasn't somebody. I don't think I have any Elly this year. He just wasn't a name I was landing on. I either had the first couple of picks and I went Ohtani, Judge, Witt, or I was at the back end. I didn't really pick in the middle of the first round a lot this year, so I didn't really realize that the second half had been as bad as it had for Ellie. Still a first rounder though, locked in first rounder. You think?
Oh, he will be because, like I said, is the skill set's awesome. If he clicks, the dude's he could be the only other 50-50 guy in baseball potentially. Like
Yeah.
he's got that skill set. It's just the inconsistencies we've seen. You know, if I want to give Soto the tip for age, Ellie's only 23. He'll be 24 in January. Another super young ball player. A lot can change. Skills are awesome. It's going to be a volatile profile that you have to be able to stomach essentially.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. The team around him has been okay, not amazing. So there's a lot of factors with Ellie, and there's a lot of factors with the next guy we're going to talk about too, Yordan Alvarez. He was hitting the ball the other way every time last night against the Jays. It seemed like 3 for 5, and he is now 20 for 45 since he's returned in 13 games with 3 homers. This is going to mess with my head a little bit now because I had kind of gotten to the point where, okay, I'm not bothering with Yordan Alvarez in the first couple rounds. But if he just continues to tear the cover off the ball and reminds us all of what he can do at his peak, maybe he does get back into the second round. I don't know. Where do you think Yordan Alvarez belongs to go in or deserves to go in drafts next year?
He'll go in the second round. He deserves to go in the second round if he can play 120 games. That's the big if. Like the skills have never been in question. It's can he stay healthy? And that's just been the constant dilemma with him. He played 147 games last year, was great. 114 the year before, 135, 144. So yeah, if you get 120, 130 games, you're getting 30 plus homers, you're getting an elite batting average. Doesn't get you 100 RBIs. Only done that once, and that's probably because of the limited games. So it's just one of those things. Can you? Again, it's roster construction. That's the name of the game, and we'll beat that those words to death this offseason. But
Yeah.
Yordan is a great piece. He hits the snot out of the baseball. You just have to build accordingly when you roster him.
Yeah,
Like a
I think that's
Yordan and an
fair.
Ellie combo is very interesting, actually.
Yeah, you're cementing the speed and the power there. The batting average will be pretty. I mean, Ellie's actually hitting 267 this year, and you combine that with if Yordan hits 300, that's a pretty solid base. I do like it. I like it a lot. Something else I like a lot, Jackson Chourio. I think it's been relatively quiet how good he has been this year. It's talked about, but I don't know if it's talked about enough. He's missed a little bit of time. It's been 115 games, but he's hitting 279 with 78 runs, 19 homers, 71 ribbies, and 18 stolen bases. This guy's 21 years old. Maybe he's turned 22 actually by this point, but we're splitting the hair. This guy is a baby and he's already dominating baseball. He's the 54th ranked player for the season as a whole. And despite having missed a little bit of time, if you're looking at his plate appearances, he's lagging quite behind. Like he's on par with Brent Rooker in 120 fewer plate appearances for fantasy value this year. So Chourio, I guess the same kind of question. Is he first round, second round, maybe somewhere on the turn? I feel like if I take him at the 1-2 turn and pair him with literally anybody there, I'm going to be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, he was a target of mine this year. He'll be a target of mine this upcoming year. He turns 22 in March, by the way. So, yes, he's a baby when it comes to this. Absolutely love Jackson Chourio. This is the guy I've said coming into this last season. If there's ever another Ronald Acuna, this is it. He is him. I had somebody on our Discord actually this morning, and Bubba in the Bloom said, "Why isn't Chourio running?" I said, "Well, he just came back from a hamstring injury. They probably wanted to play in the postseason. He's hitting the snot out of the baseball and hitting home runs. They'll sacrifice the steals. This dude's a beast. He's awesome. He's just I don't have enough words. I think we talked about him last week after you saw him live in Toronto. He's so darn good, and we haven't even come close to scratching the tip of the iceberg here."
Obligatory Jackson Chourio segment for Bubba to wax poetic about Chourio.
Yes, I
Absolutely.
love him.
I'm happy to throw him on the sheet every day the rest of the season. I can talk about Jackson Chourio until I'm blue in the face. But I could also talk about his teammate, William Contreras. And, this has been honestly a really solid season for Willie. It started off pretty poor, and I think people who drafted him early on in the first couple months were kicking themselves, especially with what Cal Raleigh was doing. But Willie's up to 263 with 85 runs, 17 homers, 71 ribbies, and 6 steals. I'm workshopping an early hot take for 2026 that William Contreras is going to out-earn Cal Raleigh. Is that crazy?
Nope. Williams been my number one guy. Yeah, people might be like, "Hey, this isn't why we paid a high draft pick," but let's remember, right out the gate, he basically fractures a finger, and he's been playing through it the entire time. This is the volatility of drafting early catchers. They get banged up. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
But since the All-Star break, when let's think, he had a couple days to let things just heal, just do their thing. He's hitting 294 with 11 home runs, 37 runs scored, 34 RBIs, and a steal. since the All-Star break. It's like a month and a half. That's the King William, as I call him, of old. He's been my number one catcher the last 2 seasons. I have no problem if anybody wants to make him number one. I also understand that Cal Raleigh should probably be number one. I get that, but I have zero problems. William is that good, and the reason I've always loved him is he plays every single day if it's not catcher or DH. He's the new Sal Perez, essentially. Love him.
Yeah. 618 plate appearances is second to Raleigh, only by 9. And I'll probably end up ranking Raleigh first. I don't know if I could rank Contreras ahead of him, but we'll see. Like Willie at worst will be number 2. I think the guy is phenomenal. He brings such a stable floor for batting average for plate appearances, like you said. He's going to chip in a couple of stolen bases where you don't really see that for most catchers. I really like, and give him a whole offseason to heal that finger. I think we're going to be cooking with gas with Jackson Chourio. Let's take a couple of your questions. Bounce back for Yuri today. I think that if you're in a deeper league, I'm fine with starting him. If you are in like a fantasy playoff situation and this is it for you, I don't know if I'd want to chance it.
It's a great matchup versus the Nats, but I will say the Nats are hitting better. They don't strike out a lot. We'll talk more Nats prop bets later. And Yuri has been bad the last 2. He's, it's coming off the Tommy John. He might have hit the wall. I'd be very sketch about starting him today.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. If you're in a pinch, if you're already seeing that your ERA for the week is at like 10 something and you have nothing to lose, sure. If you're hugging ratios, Yuri is a risk because Washington lit him up not too long ago. It might have been the last start or 2 ago, but Washington very recently got to Yuri, so gives you a bit of pause. Hang on to Doyle or time to part ways. I think I'm okay with it. They're away the rest of the week. They're not in Colorado, so that does make it a little bit easier. What Bretton Doyle's done in the second half has been, he did start to figure it out for a while, but he has cooled off over the last couple weeks again. So I don't have a big problem moving on, Bubba. What about you?
If you want to, fine. I'm a Doyle believer. I get it, but you need to make your moves. But next week they have 6 games at home, 3 against Miami, 3 against the Angels. Looking at the weekly planner that we have, it's one of the best hitting matchups of the week. So if you can afford to hold him and bench him if you have to, that's fine. If you're fighting for the playoffs this week, I get it.
Yeah, or if this is the final week, right? There are people I've had a couple questions that the season ends this week, and if that's the case, somebody said to me, like, I'm going to drop Nick Pivetta on Friday. And I was like, what do you mean you're going to drop Nick Pivetta? He's like, well, my season ends on Sunday. It's like, okay, yeah, that's the time of year it is. Once that's another thing too, that people kind of forget about. If you're in your final week of the year and, once DeGrom, Crochet, whoever makes their last start, cut him, somebody might see him on the waiver wire and think, oh my God, pick him up when they have no starts remaining. You're gaming the system a little bit there, but just something cheeky to keep in the back of your head. Joe G, which is worse, not making the correct move or making the correct move that turns out to be terrible with the results? Asking as a Fernando Cruz Roto owner who had it to help with ratios. I feel for you. I think there was 5 earnings yesterday for him. It's tough, man. Like middle relievers, even late inning relievers who aren't locked in as closers, it can go very well for you. This is also the bad side of that happening, is that they give up a lot of runs and don't have enough innings to really work off a lot of the damage. So feeling for you, Joe. Keeping you in our thoughts today, bud. Does Early pitch again this weekend? We talked about that earlier. It looks like as of today, he's lined up for the Athletics unless something has changed
next
during
week.
The course of the show.
2-step next week. So not likely anything the rest of this week.
Oh, okay. I misread
it's
that.
The A's in Boston. A's in Boston on Monday.
Right. Okay. Right. That's my mistake. I thought this was going to be on the weekend for some reason, but yes, that is next week. That's why we got Bubba here, so we can keep my head screwed on right. I've heard rumors of a lingering quad injury for Ellie. I feel like I have heard that talked about, but it hasn't been something that's been focused on a lot. Maybe he is dealing with something, which would definitely explain some of the troubles he's had in the second half. Have you heard anything concrete about that?
No, there's always buzz around key players when they're not producing, so there could be something where there's smoke. Sometimes there's fire, but yeah, I haven't seen anything concrete.
Walkie Slug, appreciate the follow. W Smirak, I'm definitely butchering these, apologies, but appreciate the follows. CCD goalie just cheering 100 bits as well. We appreciate you. Need a Swiss Army knife for the playoffs. Shaw, Kemp, Bohm on the IL now. Oh, this is a tough time of year. Durbin, Clement, or Edmund. Clement's going to play pretty much every day now with the bow injury. Durbin has been not too bad. I think it might be Clement. I don't feel great about it. It's Clement or Durbin, I think, because I don't really have interest in Edmund. What do you think, Bubba?
Yeah, Clement's all batting average, no power. Durbin gets you speed, a little bit of pop. Honestly, you didn't mention here, if you want a Swiss Army knife, go look at Brooks Baldwin. He's hitting for average, little pop, and speed, plays every day and eligible like 4 positions. So that'd be a dude I'd look at, potentially Brooks Baldwin.
It's a good name. It's a good shout. JP for the win 5 also just followed. Really appreciate you guys. Reminder, I said it earlier, but if you came in late, it's our last show of the year on Twitch. We are going to be moving to YouTube starting on Friday's show and for the remainder of the fantasy baseball season. So make sure you guys are going over there, youtube.com/fantasypros MLB, I believe. Although who types in the URL? Just go to YouTube, type in Fantasy Pros Baseball, and you guys will find it that way. In a keeper league, which would you keep out of these 5? Merrill, Riley Green, Cody Bellinger, Profar, or Keishel. If you only have one option, for me, I think it's probably Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, it's probably Merrill. I'm not the biggest Merrill fan, but I get it. The other one would be Luke Keishel. I think there's a lot to like there, but it's probably Jackson Merrill, yes.
As I say this, I think maybe I'm disrespecting Riley Green a little bit, who has a 32 homer, 104 ribby season.
Yes.
It's a tricky question, but I think projecting forward for the next 2-3 years, like you would in a keeper league, I feel like Merrill is probably the one that I'd want to have.
Yep.
But it's a tough question for sure. For 2026, how would you rank Teal, Ramirez, and Basayo? Oh man, Ramirez, Teal, Basayo, I think, but I could flip flop the first 2 and not have a big problem with it. What do you think, Bubba?
Ramirez, Basayo, Teal for me, but I like all 3 of them. Like literally, it's dealer's choice. But Goose is the clear number 1 for me. I love that skill set, power, and speed.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun catchers right now. Thanks for the forecast. The bench he goes. Let's keep it going now, and we have the 3 up and the 3 down. Ranger Suarez, we mentioned him the other day, but I think he's worth mentioning again. 6 shutout innings of 1 hit ball with 3 walks and 12 strikeouts. The second time this week that a pitcher has 12 strikeouts against the Mets, who have been the best offense in baseball for the last month or so. Joey Cantillo, 8 shutout innings of his own against the Royals, allowed 4 hits and no walks with 5 strikeouts. And Harrison Bader, who is looking unbelievable as a Philly, 3 for 5 with a homer, 2 runs, and 2 ribbies. Bubba, anything to add on Suarez, Cantillo, Hader, or potentially all of them?
No, it's I appreciate Ranger Suarez's duty. The Giants are now 2 backs to the Mets in the wild card, so thank you there. It's impressive. You mentioned the Mets offense is so good. They're hitting over 300 with like a 170 WRC plus the last month versus lefties, and he just dealt. So that's a thing of beauty. And Noah Cameron opposite Cantillo. That was like a weird pitcher duel in that game. So that's all I got there.
That's what I was kind of hoping for the night before with Ryan Bergert, but that one was not exactly what we were hoping for. On the downs, Zach Gallen, speaking of what we're not hoping for, Zach Gallen, who had shown signs of life, was looking like somebody you could trust again. 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 hits, over 6 2/3. He did strike out 6. I think I don't really know what to make of Gallen. It's going to take the winter of going through the data and everything, but I don't think he's going to be a big target of mine heading into next year, Bubba. What about you?
If the price is right, I'll bite again. I enjoyed the price tag this year. It's a down year, finishing strong. Even last night, he gave up a 3-run homer to Adames in the first, so they only allowed 2 runs over the next 5 2/3. Like he kept it together overall. I think there's something there. He's had such a workload the last 3, 4, 5 seasons that I'm kind of curious. So the price has to be right.
After that playoff run, right? That was like a 215 inning season, and then he added on another 30 or so innings in the playoffs. And since then, I don't know that he's ever really looked fully back to where he was. Hey guys, how do you feel about Tyler Wells against the Skeens and the Pirates today? I've added him in a bunch of spots. This is like the top streaming option for today. So if you can do that still, I would absolutely be doing that. I'll continue with the downs. Matthew Liberatore, this guy who's driven me crazy this year. Another rough outing. 4 innings, 5 earned runs, 7 hits, and 3 walks. He looked like he was kind of semi breaking out in the first half, and then he's given every bit of it back in the second half. And then Alexis Diaz, 4 earned runs after coming on in relief and walking 3. You might not have realized he ended up with the Braves. I talked about it. I forget if it was with you or with Ryan about like, oh, maybe we speculate on Alexis Diaz. Like, if it's the 50th round, maybe at this point, because it's looking pretty rough for him. Bubba, any potential? You think he'll ever have a full blown closer job again and give you another 25 save season?
I never say never because Brad Keller is closing games for the Cubs right now. So anything's possible. He's got the pedigree. He's got to figure it out though, because he's a walking disaster at the moment.
Yeah, it's very dark for Diaz. And speaking of dark, let's get to the injury segment. Kyle Tucker placed on the IL retroactive to September 6th with a left calf strain. Are you dropping him, or are you thinking maybe you'd hold on here?
That was a big talking point last night's show. I'm going to wait for news through the weekend. Let's put it that way. Because right now, if they're thinking it's minimal and he comes back on the 17th, if you play the full season, that's like 10 games worth of Kyle Tucker, which is probably better than anything you'll find on the wire for the last week of Fab. So I'm trying to hold if I can. I get it if you need to drop, especially if your season's coming to an end shortly.
Yeah, I get it, and I think it's almost the same thing here with Bo Bichette. This one, like, somebody get the bagpipes out, man. Placed on the IL with a sprained left knee, will undergo treatment next week before they determine the next steps. I think that if you are in a pinch, you can drop him. Like, he's probably going to come back before the end of the season, and maybe you get another week out of Bichette. And a week out of Bichette could be 20 hits the way he's been hitting in the second half, but it's looking pretty bad right now.
Yeah, I think he's a more of a drop than Tucker to me because of the week of treatment, then reevaluate. The Jays are in the postseason. Obviously, they're fighting for the East, as you know, but they're in. They need Bichette in game one of whatever round they're in. So
Yeah.
they don't really care, I think, as much as rushing him back. They want to get him right. Like, it's really weird, Joe. He rain delay, x-rays good, comes out and finishes that game, and now it's been ever since.
I've been tilting. I've been tilting, man. Like, they had a couple of off days last week and into this week. I think they had Monday off, and right afterwards on Tuesday, he goes on the IL. Can't drop him in a keeper league, nor would you. You should keep Bichette in a keeper league. He's been fantastic. Can teams stop waiting until Tuesday to tell us Bichette is out? Yes. The weekly lineups and the injuries being announced on Tuesday is one of the worst parts of this game we play. Another one of the worst parts is injuries and setbacks. Anthony Santander, his back has tightened up while he's been taking a lot of swings, which is pretty much all we need him to do when he comes back is take swings. So no good. Rehab assignment will be delayed by a few more days. If you're still holding on for Santander, I think you can probably move on at this point. It's been a terrible, terrible season. Are you holding him anywhere, Bubba, or would you continue to?
Nah, I got rid of him a long time ago. It's a lost cause right about this point.
I think it is too. Joe Adell, this one is kind of scary. It was scratched on Tuesday as he battles vertigo. He was initially listed in before being removed from the starting lineup. How concerned are you about this? This is something that we don't see this every day. So I don't know if we really even know how to evaluate this other than just like listen to what the doctors tell us. But what are your first thoughts here?
Well, he left Sunday's game nauseous, was out Monday with vertigo. Tuesday was a late scratch, so he almost thought he could play. It's one of those, like, it feels like Percy Harvin migraine situations all over again, where it feels like he might be ready any day, but we don't know. To your point, there's really nothing you can do there. He has to wake up. It's not a concussion, but you're going to treat it like a concussion in theory. Like, you don't know how to approach it at all.
A lot of comments here. One member of the chat saying, my mom had vertigo for years. Basically, it's like you're a spinny drunk on a normal day. So that's no good. And considering where the Angels are, maybe they just say, you know what, you've had a great season. Maybe we don't need to push it this year. Come back healthy in 2026. We don't have that news yet, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if that were the case. Luis Garcia, this one stinks. Brian and I were talking about it on Monday. We were both really interested in a pickup for the 2-start week. Had to leave in the second inning with, I think it was elbow tightness or an elbow strain of some kind. He called for the trainer right away. Velocity was down. This is only his second start back from Tommy John surgery. I'd be pretty surprised if we see Luis Garcia again anytime soon, Bubba. If you picked him up, are you just dropping him?
Yeah, like, you obviously get till the weekend, hopefully, unless you're in a daily league. If you're a daily league, drop him. He's gone. Like, I'd be beyond shocked if we see him on a mound again. The way he acted, the velocity was down. After the game, Garcia and the Astros said they did not want to discuss the injury until more results from testing came back. That says a lot to me right about there. So I would be beyond shocked if he pitches another inning this season.
Yeah, you really feel for them. Like, I know we focus on the fantasy side, but just on the human side of things, you come back after a long layoff, your second start. You look good in your first start too, and then it looks pretty dark again. This is also one that tugs at the heartstrings a little bit. Frankie Montas is going to undergo Tommy John surgery. You never like to see that. Sending our best to Frankie and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. as well. Always been a big fan of Gurriel. He will undergo an ACL surgery tomorrow that is expected to take 9 to 10 months to recover from. So if you were thinking about using him as a keeper or thinking about drafting him in the early parts of the offseason, it probably doesn't make any sense. I don't know that he'll be drafted in any redraft leagues other than the draft and hold formats, the 50-round type of deals, Bubba, heading into next year. 10 months from now, you're looking at the middle of next season, unfortunately, for Lourdes Gurriel. Michael Wacha as well. This one stinks. Was placed in the concussion IL after suffering an off-field injury. I didn't actually see what the heck happened, but he's going to miss a start against the Guardians this week, which sucks. The Guardians, I know they had a good game on, was it Monday or Tuesday? They can go off here and there, but they've been a bad offense. I started Waka everywhere for that one, so it's unfortunate. I mean, at this time of year with a concussion, would you just drop Michael Waka, or would you hold on hoping that he can make a couple more starts for you?
They're fighting. They're fighting still in Kansas City, so you're hoping for at least one, maybe two more starts. It's just really weird because they said it's off the field. They haven't said what it is. So it could be something super minor, like he hit his head on a cabinet or something, and he just needs a break, or who knows? Like this could be pretty bad. So it's a very weird situation that I'd hold if you can, because again, the replacement's not great.
Yeah, especially if you're talking like a 15-teamer.
Yeah.
You're not finding many goodies out there on the waiver wire. Now, in terms of who he might face, after Cleveland, it's Philly, and then it's Seattle, and then it's Toronto, and then it's at the Angels. So it's an all right schedule. You're probably not finding anything good, but if you do find something good on the waiver wire, I wouldn't hesitate there. Should I drop Diggs for a QB? Oh, jeez, it's a football question.
Yeah, baby. They got you.
They got me. I was about to be like, oh, you got me. You guys got me. We have football streams here. I'm not sure if we have a graphic of the football schedule, but we're doing football stuff here pretty much every single day on Twitch, on YouTube, the podcast feed. It's probably 2 football podcasts coming out every single day. So you can get your football questions answered, but this is baseball time. This is where Bubba and I talk baseball, and we are going to continue to do so for the next few minutes with our best bets of the day. Bubba, you got some hits, runs, and RBIs, and it looks like some juicy plus money for the people today. So let's hear it.
We're going big. We're going big. Trevor Story, over 3 hits, runs, RBIs. He's in that bandbox in Sacramento, going up against the youngster that's been getting shelled his last few starts. I'll take my chances there. Josh Bell has been rejuvenated the last few weeks, is the nicest way I can say it. He's a home run machine. He's a sac fly machine, which is an RBI for those keeping track at home. Over 3 hits, runs, and RBIs, plus 170 as he takes on Yuri Perez. And then Kyle Schwarber is supposed to be over 3 hits, runs, and RBIs. If you get over 2 for this, kudos. But over 3 hits, runs, and RBIs for the Shore Bombs at plus 155. Another phenomenal matchup. They get to face this guy named Clay Holmes, who should not be starting in a major league team right now. He should be in the bullpen at best. So Shorebomb hit career home run number 50 on Tuesday, the second Philly to ever do it and 34th player in baseball. He might hit 51 tonight, I think. I'm just a hunch.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit of a sign of things to come for the next segment of the show. But for me, for the bets today, and by the way, we got a couple of first-time chatters and new followers. Morizum just followed. Mass Cheesehead just followed. First-time chatter. Like you guys are doing us doing us well here on our final Twitch show of the year. So I do appreciate all of the chatter. My bets for the day: Baltimore and Pittsburgh under 7.5. Paul Skeens versus the aforementioned Tyler Wells. I really like Tyler Wells. Obviously, Skeens you don't need to talk about. He's brilliant, but Tyler Wells has also been fantastic for the last several years when he's been healthy. When Tyler Wells has been out there and healthy, he's done very good things against Pittsburgh. I like it a lot. Jose Barrios, this guy stinks. I'm sorry. He's no good anymore. If you still have him on your teams, other than maybe if it's like a 15-teamer, I think you should drop him 10s and 12s. No good. That's why the strikeout line is set at 3.5. Under might be a little bit cheeky. He did have 8 a few times out, a few starts ago against, I believe it was the Marlins, but most of the time right now, Barrios is giving you 2 or 3 strikeouts. So under 3.5 at plus money. I like it a lot. And then Freddie Peralta here. This is an alt line because it was set at 5.5. He's taking on the Rangers tonight. Freddie Peralta's been racking up the Ks. So taking the alt up to 7 strikeouts where you can get it at plus 140. So make sure you guys are checking that out. And make sure you guys are checking out the prop bet cheat sheet. This is where, if you're going through a couple of hard days on the bets and you can't figure out anything, this is where you lean on the prop bet cheat sheet. They'll help you figure out where you should be betting, what markets you should be focusing in on, and you can sort by different books and different bets and different lines, everything. You can do a lot with the very customizable prop bet cheat sheet. Go check it out today at bettingpros.com/MLB props. Can someone explain the fall of Barrios? I don't know. He's okay. He's having a rough go of it. I don't know that he is as good as maybe was advertised. I don't know, honestly. I honestly don't know how to break it down. Because there are times when Jose Barrios looks really good, but by and large, he looks pretty terrible. And Lee saying Mets have the 4th worst record since June 13th, but that's not because of their bats. Their bats have been by and large excellent for the last couple of months. Seth, I kind of pulled the rug out from under you there, my friend. I'm really sorry. Let's throw the home run board back up there and take a look here. Positive Grouch. 58 is at the top. Bees at 50. Bees 87 with 57. Whips is at 57 as well, and then George and the Fisher King at 56 and 55 respectively. These have been the names we've been looking at for a while. There's been some shaking and moving, and we are still close enough at the top there that we could see some movement here over the last couple of weeks of the season. We got about 15, 17 games left, so this is crunch time for sure. My home run call for tonight is going to be Alex Bregman. He's going up against Mason Barnett, facing the Red Sox today. They are in Oakland. Jesus, I did it again. They are in Sacramento. They're not in Oakland anymore. They are in Sacramento, and I think Alex Bregman's going to hit one out of the park today. Bubba, who do you like for your home run call? You may have alluded to it earlier.
As you mentioned, foreshadowing, this is what podcast hosts as guests tend to do, is Schwarbombs. We're going back to Schwarbombs. Clay Holmes is so bad at baseball. He gives up home runs with the best of them. It's almost in his name. So give me Kyle Schwarber. He's going deep at least once. He's going to get a part of the 51 home run club by the end of tonight.
You know, it's pretty impressive. Only 34 players in Major League history have hit 50 home runs. It's a very exclusive club.
It seems so low when I heard that, but I'm like, yeah, it's probably about right.
It's crazy. Like, with all the thousands and thousands of players that have played, 34. And I don't know if that's 34 individual players or 34.
I think
it's
34 individual players. It's happened like 50-something times, they said. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. It is very rare. We had a couple of funny comments in the chat. Lee saying, I love my wife, but I'm being honest, Junior Caminero might have better keeper value. I hope she doesn't see this one for your sake, or you might have to be fluffing up the couch pillows.
As a divorced guy, I agree. No,
fluff up the couch pillows, Lee. You might be heading there tonight. Final Twitch show. Tell us your two teams that make the World Series.
I was going to save that for the final YouTube show, but I guess we'll save it for Twitch. No, are you going Homer? You going Homer?
I can't do it for Toronto. The bullpen is not steady enough. The starters are not consistent enough either. In the American League, I think I'd go with the Astros. I feel like they're still very consistent as a whole. They are always around. They're still having a good year, even though they're not the team that they have been historically. They're still very good. I think it's the Astros and the Brewers right now. As much as that feels obscure, the Brewers are a complete team. I saw somebody say recently, the Brewers, they're a fraudulent team. They have a great rotation. They have a great pen. They have a deep lineup filled with stars. I think they're the best team in baseball. I think they're going to go to the World Series. Who's going to win? I'm not sure yet, but I think the Brewers are going to represent the NL.
Yeah, who I want to play in there is going to tick off every TV station out there, but I got the Mariners because I agree if their rotation can get it going, that's tremendous, at least with Wu and Gilbert. Hopefully get one more to throw in there. And then you throw in the Brew Crew. I've been Team Brew Crew for a long time. The last few years, they just haven't been able to get the pitching to go. Right now, they've got it in depth. So I love the Brew Crew.
The pitching was so good that they had two guys who were at one point Rookie of the Year candidates, Chad Patrick and Logan Henderson, pitching in AAA. This is a deep team. McGill coming back will help out for sure, but this is a very, very good ball club. Guys, we're going to send you on your way there and wrap up today's show. Really appreciate everybody coming in, filling up the chat with the questions. Lots of first-time commenters, lots of cheered bits and everything. We really do appreciate that. But head over to YouTube, Fantasy Pros MLB, subscribe there, leave comments, like the video, do all that great stuff to help us out and help yourself out. You might get yourself a Billy Wagner signed baseball courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. But guys, that will do it for us. Really appreciate it again. Remember, YouTube, we'll see you again next time right here on the Fantasy Pros Baseball Podcast. Take care, everybody. Oh, man. YouTube. I got to drill it in. If you're watching back on the YouTube video today, stay on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We will see you guys on Friday. Really appreciate it, everybody.